Hey y'all, Eric Adcock is on life at Time. Great summer is over. School starts pretty soon. I, for one, am extremely excited about school starting. My dad was always excited about school starting. I'm excited about school starting. Only got one starting school this year. Riley graduated last year. Jackson 2 years before. So Walker will be going to school all by himself this year. As far as it'll be kind of sad, but we got to do it, right? I was thinking the other day, and one of my friends was buying a phone, and the guy that was selling it said, "Hey, you know what? It's all set to default. All the default settings are there. It's going to be just like when you bought a brand new phone." So the term or the phrase default settings has been kind of rolling around in my head for the last couple of days. And I got to thinking about me as myself. It's like, what are my default settings? Like, what if, because we all have preferences, right? And, when you start, once you start putting, making preferences on a device or something like that, you change the default settings. And so I had thought that maybe my default setting was this certain thing or this certain thing, and it was kind of negative. Like, well, my default setting is just to defer to others, or my default setting is this, or whatever. And the more I got to thinking about it, is that I started thinking of more negatives. And I don't know if y'all are like that, but I am. I have a tendency to think. I have a tendency to think that I'm the solution and problem altogether. I don't know if anybody ever else has that deal. Like, you know what? I'm the problem, but I've got the solution. So maybe it's just me. I don't know. But the more I started thinking about it, the more I started praying about it, I realized that every human born has the same default settings. We're born to believe in God. No one's ever born an atheist. We're born to love and to trust, and we're born to be in the image of God. And in life, we start clicking on and adding accessories to ourselves. We're not like self-esteem issues is not a default setting. That's a preference we put. That's something that someone's clicked on us. Feeling lonely or alone, that is not a default setting. That is something that we change in the preferences. Anger, jealousy, rage, that is not a default setting. That is something that we click on and we change. Have you ever gotten your phone back? Maybe you've got a little cousin or your son or your little brother get your phone, little sister get your phone, and they have changed up everything. You don't even know how they've done it. I was looking at Walker, wanted to look at my phone the other day and come back, in my keyboard for some reason was on translate. Just little things like that. Like, he had changed my background picture. He had done all this stuff, Default settings. I believe everybody has the same default settings. We have a setting to trust and obey. Those are default settings in us that's just there. And then the older we get, as life goes along, we start clicking on other people, start changing the preferences in our default setting. And I know this to be true because you can just have all sorts of problems and preferences going on. And if you just pray, if you just spend an hour in prayer reading your Bible, it's like I can see those sliders going back and taking some preferences off of me. Maybe I'm just talking to me, and that's cool if I am. I talk to myself all the time. But our default settings is not anger and bitterness and jealousy and rage and insecurity, self-loathing. That is not your default settings. Your default settings is love, peace, joy, happiness, trust, feeling worthy, and understanding that you are a child of the King. I want to set make sure that the preferences and the default settings, they're good. And I don't want to wake up one morning and my background changed to something I don't want to see. Or I've got a language on my keyboard that I can't understand. Default settings are good. Where everything's, default settings are good. Yeah, I think so. It's time for me for a reset. Where's that reset button, y'all?